Good evening, citizens of Douglas, Ambrose, Broxton, Nichols, and our unincorporated area. And by now, you know, my name is Tony Paulk. I'm the mayor of the city of Douglas. We've had some trying times over the last few days. Just a few short hours ago, we didn't know what was happening on the outside of our houses or homes, and then to wake up to the sheer devastation that we witnessed. And that was hard. It's amazing that that destruction lasted about 2 or 3 hours, and it's going to take us an extended period of time to recover. So the first thing I want to say is this right here. God has been good. God has been great. God has been magnificent to our community. Yes, we've had one fatality, and the Georgia Search and Rescue Team is still here, and we continue on this road. But we must also remember how blessed we were that God protected us. As the mayor, I visit every community. Yes, the damage to homes and property is devastating, but I have witnessed so many houses that look totally destroyed. People were kept safe. I've seen so many trees that were just laid down beside the house and never touched that structure. So God has protected us, and we want to give him the thanks and the praise. I want to say this right here. Also, as the mayor, I have had the very unique position, and I'm going to try not to get emotional, of seeing the goodness of our community. Neighbors helping neighbors. The first responders to the hurricane were the citizens of their communities, going in the house and checking on the elderly. Now we see families sharing meals. We see families sharing homes, generators. You know, this is what community is all about. And as we respond to the hurricane, as I said, it is going to be an extended period of time. But I assure you, everyone in our county that holds a leadership role is wide open. We're communicating with each other, keeping each other informed. We're working together to get the necessary resources to Coffee County to restore our beautiful county. And I want to say this again. The citizens have touched my heart by just showing compassion to their fellow neighbors. I want to get into the meat of this briefing because I have to get back to work. I got about another 3 or 4 hours before I can go home. So the first thing is the city of Douglas is still under a boil water advisory pending the test results tomorrow. So although the water has been running for a couple days now, we have to take sample tests, and we have to send those tests off. It's a 24-hour test. So hopefully tomorrow sometime we will know the results of those tests, and we'll put out a press release to let you know the status of the water. Next slide. I want you to take a look at these utility trucks. These utility trucks are working hard. They're working diligently. They're working 14 and 16-hour shifts. Why am I showing you these trucks? One, I need you to yield the right-of-way to our trucks. They have a destination that they're trying to get to. They do not need to be hindered in getting to that destination. When we slow up the utility workers in the trucks, it just prolongs the time. So please, yield to the right-of-way of our trucks. Next slide. I want to give you how this works as far as recovery. And we've divided this into 4 levels. And each level is critical, and it builds upon each level. As I've said, the City of Douglas power system is about 6,000 pieces. And Helene just took those 6,000 pieces and threw them up in there. Now we have to put those pieces back together. So level 1 is transmission towers to the substation. That has been completed. The transmission towers are fully energized. The second level is substations are checked and repaired. All 3 of our substations are energized. So level 2 is complete. You can't do level 1 and level 2 in reverse order. Everything is a chain reaction. As you see the utility workers now, we're at level 3. Main distribution lines or the supply lines to service lines, they have to be checked and repaired. And this is all that the utility workers are doing now. We're at level 3. They're repairing distribution lines. These are the lines that run past your house. They just run past your house. Some people call them circuits. I like to refer to them as distribution lines. As you see, when we get a line repaired, we run back to the substations and flip a switch. All of a sudden, you see a whole bunch of houses get illuminated. That's fine. That's what we're trying to get. The distribution lines allows us to turn on 100, 150 people with one flip of a switch. After that comes level 4. While we're at level 3, you may see that your entire street is illuminated, but 1 or 2 houses have no power. That means that those houses are going to be taken care of on level 4. So let me give you an example. Right now, we're trying to turn on 100, 150 houses at one time. We can't take the utility workers and start sending them to individual houses. If we start doing that, the recovery efforts will be really slow, really slow. So, and it's difficult to make these decisions because I understand that there are some citizens that need electricity for medical devices. I understand that, but this is the process. So I would encourage you, if you have a family member and you need electricity to use a medical device, please, in the United States Army, we used to have battle buddies. I'm asking you to have a hurricane buddy. Let them come to your house, charge their devices, and when we get to level 4, we're going to come back to individual houses. And I want to talk to you about those individual houses, and we're going to get a little bit more in detail. If that house has any type of damage to the roof, even in level 4, they're not going to be reconnected. There are no trees allowed on the house. The roof must be repaired. If your electrical stack on the side of your house that brings power into your house, if it's bent, damaged, or even torn off, even in level 4, the city and our friends are not going to reestablish power to the house. Why am I telling you this? These are all safety violations. We cannot supply power to a house that is not certified safe. So I'm going to say that again. No trees, roof has to be repaired, and that your service into your house, that meter base, the stack, and the weather head have to be functional. Next level. Next slide, please. So right now, the city of Douglas has a rule that on the on the stack or service stack, it has to be 2.5 inches. With the critical shortage of 2.5 stacks, the city, I'm going to suspend that policy until we get on the other side of this hurricane. Why am I doing that? One, there are no 2.5-inch stacks in Coffee County or the surrounding, but we have numerous and plentiful 2-inch stacks. So I want to make sure that we understand this. As the mayor, I am suspending this policy of 2.5-inch stacks. So yes, you can go here locally and grab a 2-inch stack, repair it, and get power. However, this is just during this hurricane, just during this state of emergency. Once we're through this state of emergency and that 2-inch stack gets damaged, you're going to be required to replace it with a 2.5-inch stack. I'm going to leave that right there. I want to make sure that everybody removes the debris that does not have fiber or electric wires in it from around the poles. So I'm saying this right here. Please do not pile up any yard debris. First of all, in the road, we're actually having citizens, because they're cleaning up their yard, and they're actually putting the yard debris in the road. After we've come through and cleaned it and made it a 2-lane road, they just transferred it back to a 1-lane road. We have to have the debris on the side of the road, on the city's right-of-way, but it cannot be around the utility pole. We need about 10 feet on each side. Why am I saying 10 feet? The utility trucks are huge. They have to expand the arms to stabilize the vehicle. So please, if you have any debris that does not have any electrical wire tangled into it, please move it 10 feet away from the utility pole. Let's say that you don't move it. That utility truck is going to pass right by it, because they cannot sit there and spend 45 minutes to move the debris. They're going to go to the next pole. And then we'll have to service that pole at level 4. And that just slows up the process. Broken poles are going to require time. We have a crew that is replacing broken poles. We are still assessing Golf Club Road, Wheeler Park, and Touchton Woods. I think the first road into Golf Club Road, our assessment team, there are 48 poles that are broken, that are damaged, that cannot be used. That's 48 on one road. That takes up about the city's normal number of poles that we keep in storage. That's why we're ordering poles from everywhere. So it's paramount that the utility workers be able to have access to the poles. It's paramount that they can see the broken pole, that you haven't covered it up with yard debris. Next slide. Now, I've already said this. I'm going to say it again. If you have a tree on your roof, the city cannot restore power to your home until the tree is removed. The damaged roof is tarped, and a certified electrician has said, signed off in writing, it is safe to restore power. That is not going to be the city's call. That is going to be a certified electrician that says that that is safe. Now, this here is just temporary measures. We're not going to ride through or pass your house in 2 months and it still got that tarp on it. Okay? This is a temporary fix to get you into your house. So we're suspending some of the rules in order to help out. Next slide. I want to make sure that the citizens see this slide. You see there's a transformer, you see a broken pole, and you see yard debris. Stay away from this. Treat all wires as if they are live. This right here will be repaired when we get to level 4, unless it's significant in the distribution line. If it is not a major contributor to the distribution line, it's going to stay there. And I need you to stay away from it until we get to level 4. Next slide. Again, you see how the wires are tangled in or entangled in with the yard debris. That was put there. We cannot get to that pole to put the pole up and reconnect power. Now, I do not want you to move that. Why? Because it has electrical wires in it. And again, we're going to treat all electrical wires, excuse me, as if they are energized, that they are live. Next slide. You see this right here? Look how close that yard debris is to that light pole or utility pole. The utility workers cannot get to it. The crew cannot get to it. They cannot do their job. So guess what? If that's in front of your house, you're going to be happy that that utility truck turned on your street. But when it passed by your house, because they can't get to that electrical pole, you're going to be sad. That's why I'm telling you now, you need to move that yard debris to the side, at least 10 feet away from that utility pole, so that when they turn on your street, they're going to stop and do what they need to do to restore that distribution line. Next slide, please. This right here is a mess. That's a mess. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because I've witnessed citizens going out and moving this. Leave this alone. Do not touch this. Let the professionals come and make sure that those power lines are not energized. And again, it's going to sit there for a little while, a few days, unless it's significant to the distribution for level 3. It's going to sit there. When we hit level 4, going to come back and they're going to repair that. Next slide. This slide here, and we actually had to ride around, or Blondell had to ride around for a while to find where a citizen actually removed the yard debris, and it's about 10 feet away from the utility pole. So guess what? A utility worker can come in there, and on the side of the utility vehicle, there are arms or legs that have to be extended to stabilize the vehicle when they use the boom or the bucket that goes up and down. So again, this right here is the perfect example that utility truck can get there and they can do their job and move on to the next utility pole to continue to repair the distribution lines. Next slide. Looks like we're having technical difficulties. However, just tell me what the next slide is. Okay, I really need that one up. The next one is about the stack. I want to make sure that this is crystal clear, and then I'm going to let you go back. Because just like most citizens, what I have to look forward to is no power and a cold shower. So I want to make sure that we explain about the meter base. The meter base is attached to the side of your house. We're having some technical difficulties. And then on top of it is normally a 10-foot, 2.5-inch stike. And then there's a weatherhead that comes out. And it has normally a black and silver wire coming out of it. There it is, right there. So the meter base is fine. The weatherhead is fine. It's that service stike that I am suspending the 2.5-inch requirement because there are none in Coffee County. And we got to make sure that the citizens have ample enough opportunity to go and get this repaired. So we're going to suspend that, and we're going to a 2-inch stike. 2-inch. There are a lot of them in Douglas. 2-inch stike. Okay? But after we get through this, we're going back to the 2.5-inch. I want to make sure that we're crystal clear about that. Is that our last slide? So let me wrap this up. I still got about 3 or 4 hours more. As I said earlier, we've been blessed. And right now, level 3, we're moving fast. We are moving fast as we can. When we get to level 4, it's going to be slow because we may work 2 hours to turn one house on. We may work 3 hours to turn 2 houses on. We have to be patient. I'm asking you. So I already talked to Commissioner Paulk. I already talked to Commissioner Bailey. I've already talked to the Mayor Pro Temp Gowan. I've already talked to Commissioner McNeil. I've already talked to Commissioner Bailey. We're all in agreement that we're going to continue with this game plan of level 3. So we stand united on this. We're not going to go back and turn on one house when we need that crew helping with the distribution line. When we get all the distribution lines up and energized, we're going to go to level 4. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. We stand united on this. We're not going to play politics. I'm going to say that again. We're not going to play politics. We're going to stand firm on this because, as I said earlier, we can turn on 150 houses versus 1. Right now, we're going for the 150 houses. We'll come back and do the 1. So I'm going to need you to be patient. And in conclusion, I want you to continue to work. The crews are out cleaning up, picking up debris. We're picking up trash at the commercial. It's going to be very limited. And we'll have the roll-offs at the schools for house trash or household trash. So please be patient. We're going to get there. It's just going to take time. And as always, may God continue to bless the citizens of Coffee County, and go Trojans. Thank you. Have a good night.